I'm talking today to Helen Whitten. Helen is an accredited coach, mentor, writer, and trainer for a company called Positive Worth. Hi, Helen.
Hi there, Joanne. Nice to be with you.
Nice to be with you too. Helen, as an executive and life coach, what is the methodology that you use in your coaching and why?
I use cognitive behavioral coaching. In fact, I wrote a book in the Dummies series to explain my methods. Basically, it's about how you think affects how you feel, affects how you behave. And so if you're feeling confident, you will make very different decisions and you'll communicate very differently to if you were feeling stressed or nervous or doubtful. And all of that comes from the way you think about a situation. And so if you've got a presentation to make or you've got a difficult conversation to have at home or whatever it might be, it's how you think about it that makes the difference. And you can't always change the situation, but you can change how you think about it and respond to it.
The whole concept of, just think positively, that's a very hard concept sometimes. It's a lot of people think it's easier said than done. What are your thoughts with regard to positive thinking and what is its importance in your coaching and getting people to change their negative thoughts?
Okay, I don't teach positive thinking in the Pollyanna, everything in the garden is wonderful way. I teach it in terms of constructive, rational thoughts. So if you have a situation to deal with, rather than saying, this is the worst thing in the world that could possibly happen to me, and everything is awful, and no one is listening, and that kind of thing, I get people to really step back and think about how their thoughts are impacting how they respond to a situation. And if their thoughts are very negative or pessimistic, then that doesn't help them to manage. So it is about how can you make sure that your thought actually helps you to manage the situation rather than detract you. It's very easy for the mind to create all kinds of disaster scenarios, if you like, by imagining all the different things that could possibly go wrong. And what I do is help people to think as positively as is rational within the situation.
A lot of people are generally, we say negative people, they always look at the glass as half empty. How would you consult with somebody who is really battling, as that was perhaps really part of their personality? I don't personally believe that the way we think is necessarily part of our personality. Also, there has been quite a considerable amount of research done by Professor Martin Seligman in America, which shows that we can learn to be optimistic. So, for a start, I make a very different specification as to what is negative thinking and what is pessimistic thinking, versus, which is very rarely useful, I would say, versus critical thinking and analytical thinking, which often are useful. And so what I help my clients to do is to recognize what they're doing to themselves, if you like, how their thoughts, if they're constantly saying, oh, the world's getting a worse place, everything's going downhill, and, nothing ever works, then that's rarely useful, and it's also rarely correct. Virtually always there is something that actually is going better. And so I get them to really, in a sense, critically analyze their own thoughts and then say, well, okay, how could I look at that and see what has gone wrong, what has gone right in the world as well as what's gone wrong in the world. Then it's about repetition. You can't just sort of think of a thought once and believe that that will be your new way of dealing with things. You have to repeat and repeat, just like learning a new language, really, in order to become more optimistic than you were before, become more positive than you were before. And just to finish things off, what place does gratitude have with positive thinking? Does it work hand in hand? What are your thoughts with regards to gratitude journals, things like that? I think they're a great idea. I think, especially if one is struggling a lot with life, then to remember what you have to be glad about, to be pleased with, both about yourself, I think, you know, what have you achieved, big things, little things, doesn't matter. Every day we get various things done and we do various things, but also about where we're living or who our parents are, or who our partners are, and our children and our bosses or our colleagues, or anything that we notice that will help us to feel good about ourselves and feel good about life. All of those things help, and I think it does help to keep a journal, because especially if you're in a down period, if you like, then I think it really does help to write that down. It makes it concrete, it makes it real for people.
Thank you, Helen. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.